Good morning, everyone. It's Kyla. And today is Thursday, November 18th, 2021, and I am heading into school. I went to school Monday and Tuesday, and then Wednesdays are our virtual days, where we, virtual training days. Typically, sometimes we're in person, but we're never, at the school. Sometimes we, go on, a field trip or something with the team. I'm excited to be back in school after a week off, because I was sick. It's really good to be back. I missed the kiddos, my students. So this morning, I thought I would talk to you about my journey and exploration from the past few days. I have been diving into witchcraft, which sounds bad, but it's actually really exciting. Let's start at the beginning, shall we? About 2 years ago, on September 14th, 2019, I encountered a tarot deck for the first time, and I was intrigued. I was at a friend's dorm, and his roommate had a tarot deck and was a tarot reader. And so I was checking out his tarot deck and looking at it and stuff. And my favorite author, Maggie Potter, I had known that she had illustrated a tarot deck. It is called The Raven's Prophecy. It's inspired partially by the Raven cycle and Welsh mythology and stuff. And so I had always been really intrigued by the deck and the art because it was really pretty, but I was raised Christian, and so I was my mom is very much of the belief that tarot is of the devil and evil. And so I was okay, I just won't get it. But then I was at my friend's dorm and I saw his roommate's tarot deck and I was holy crap, this is amazing. This is so cool. And I was reading the book that goes along with the deck, and I was this is so cool. This is just really beautiful. This isn't evil. This is just really beautiful. And so I bought Maggie Potter's deck, and when I first started reading the book, I was blown away. I was oh my gosh, this is incredible. And in the book, Maggie talks about how it's really the magic, there's no special power or magic in the cards. The magic in them is really just the magic in you. And tarot is really just a way to tell stories about your life. And as a storyteller myself, I was yes, please, I love this. So I dived into tarot and fell in love with tarot. And at this point in my tarot journey, I originally identified as a secular tarot reader, which basically means I didn't think there was necessarily any magic in using the tarot cards beyond just regular psychological intuition and the psychological confirmation bias and just using those things that we naturally do as humans, and that was the power in the tarot. And I still believe that. I still believe that that's a big piece of tarot. But at this point, I also do believe that there can be influence from the divine or the universe or whatever you want to call it. I personally am Christian, so I do believe that God can influence my tarot readings. Just the same way, growing up, I was taught that, if you flip to a random page in the scriptures, you'll find a scripture that applies to you, that you need to hear at that moment in life. So basically that same principle, that God is going to give you the messages that you need to be hearing right now. So that's my thoughts on tarot. And so that's where we were, and that's where tarot led us to as of about a month ago. And then as Halloween was coming around, I was I'm kind of a witch. I do tarot readings. I believe in a higher power that may or may not influence my tarot readings. Is that not witchy? Am I not a witch? Because those are just the vibes I give off. I kind of am witchy. And so I was kind of oh, that's fun. What a fun little vibe. Fun witchy vibes. And so then I went and got a tarot reading done by a professional psychic in Salem 2 Sundays ago. And that was incredible. That was so cool. But something that the tarot reader really encouraged me when she was reading my cards she was like, you need to like embrace your gifts. Like, you have gifts and you need to embrace those and use those to heal people. And like, you're a healer, you need to like be using your gifts to help heal. I was like, yeah, like, okay, that's pretty cool, I can get down with that. And she was specifically talking about like my gifts as a tarot reader, and she implied that I had gifts beyond that too. She didn't imply, she straight up said I had gifts beyond that too. And I was like, okay, if you say so. So that was just confirming the witchy vibes I give and have. And I was like, okay, cool. So then in this Facebook group I'm a part of for Mormons and ex-Mormons and post-Mormons and progressive Mormons, and like, someone made a post in that Facebook group that was like, anyone here a witch? Anyone here who identifies as a witch? Tell me about your journey to become a witch. And there were so many comments of people being like, hey, like, I'm a witch, or like, I was like, I want to be a witch, like, what? And then there was like someone in the comments in the thread posted about a ex-Mormon turned witch Facebook group specifically for witches who are ex-Mormon. And I was like, I want to be an ex-Mormon witch. And so I joined that Facebook group too. And so then I was like, all right, I'm diving into witchcraft. So then I spent that morning researching books on witchcraft and researching like beginner witch books and stuff. Because I was like, I want to learn more about witchcraft and being a witch and what all that means. And in my research, I discovered a couple things, but one of the biggest things I discovered was that there's a difference between Wiccan and witch, which I didn't know. I thought Wiccan was just like witchcraft, another word for being a witch, and witchcraft. So on the contrary, so Wiccan is a religion where Wiccans believe in a god and a goddess, and like worship these specific gods and goddesses, this specific god and goddess. And then I think they like worship like, I don't know if there's other gods and goddesses, I'm not 100% sure. But I was like, okay, I know I'm not interested in Wiccan because I am very comfortable and I get my fulfillment that I need spiritually from Christianity. And that's what I personally believe in. And I don't necessarily think Christianity is more right than Wiccanism. I don't know if it's more right than being Wiccan or not, but it's what's more right to me personally. Like, it's just what fits me better personally. And yeah, so I'm gonna stay Christian. But witchcraft it's like a tool. Witchcraft is like a practice. It's not a religion, it's not like worship, it's like a practice. And so witchcraft is the practice of, I'm explaining what witchcraft means to me. So witchcraft to me, based on my research and based on what I believe right now, witchcraft is a practice of connecting with the divine through ceremonies and physical like practices, and like using physical tools and mindsets to connect with the divine. And also it's using magic where magic is putting your energy out there and your intention out there and manipulating energy to like cause things to happen. And I essentially see witchcraft and like spell work, which spells are essentially just putting your energy into the universe / manipulating energy in order for something to happen that you want to happen. And so I essentially see spell work as the same thing as like praying and asking God for something, which Christians do all the time. And so I essentially just see it as a more like intense version of that, just in the sense that like you are getting yourself into a place where you're even more solemn and spiritual and connected to the divine rather than just prayer. Because in spell work you typically like have like a specific, like you prepare a specific spell with objects like herbs or candles or incense or crystals whose properties support the spell you want to cast, and then you cast your spell, and using those items, and the universe responds. And so I really like, there's a part of me that's like admittedly still skeptical of the true abilities of witchcraft and whatnot, just because I think I've been raised to be skeptical of it. But like, the more I learn about it, the more confident I become in it, because I'm like, this is really like, this isn't that different from like what I've been taught I'm capable of through God and prayer my whole life. So like, I don't see any issues with this. Like, it's just a different way of communing with God and a different way of influencing outcomes. The big thing in witchcraft, though, that I really appreciate is that a lot of the power comes from within you. Like, it's a very internal process and an internal ability to influence. And so I really appreciate that. And I've been talking to my therapist about my journey into witchcraft and whatnot. One of the biggest things she's been telling me for like months is that I need to step into my power. But she's like, this is an amazing and beautiful way for you to step into your power, and I think it's going to be really helpful and useful to you in your life. And I was like, yeah, mate, like, I agree. Go back to my timeline of what the past week has consisted of. So Thursday, I did research and I ordered 4 books. I'm gonna put them here on the screen because I don't remember the titles of them right now. I've only started reading Psychic Witch so far, they all look really awesome, and I'm really excited, and I've been really enjoying reading them. I ordered those on Thursday, and then I very excitedly have been shopping around for witchy items and tools. Also Thursday, I listened to this podcast called Seeking Witchcraft, and I listened to the Seeking Witchcraft podcast. I've listened to like a lot of episodes from that so far, probably like close to 10 episodes. They're like 30 minutes each. They're pretty short episodes, and I've been listening to them like on my drive to and from school. That's been informative and helpful too. But on Thursday, I listened to episodes talking about like tools for witchcraft and like what tools witches use. And one of those tools is an altar. And so an altar is essentially just a place where, like a sacred space, like a space that's specifically designated in your home to be sacred and spiritual, where you do all your witchcraft and where you perform spells and where you connect with the divine, really. And I was like, 100% I want that. Like, even if I wasn't interested in witchcraft 100%, I'm interested in that just to like have a space to like pray and like do my tarot readings and like have a set aside special sacred personal space where I can connect with the divine. Like, that's beautiful. I love that. And I love the idea of like establishing a space for that, where the energy, like, you can get in that mindset and that energy is stored to be spiritual and sacred. And so I found a table on Facebook Marketplace Thursday afternoon, and then, as we know, I went and picked it up on Friday, and that is my altar that I went and got. And so, yeah, that's all quite exciting, if I do say so myself. And then on Friday, I was looking at altar kits on Etsy, and I bought a few tools on Etsy, which I will give you a tour of at some point. And then on Saturday, I ordered some crystals and candles from a local store near me. And so then I went and picked those up on Sunday and got those crystals then. And then Sunday night, after I picked up the crystals, I was like, I really want like to write down what crystals I have and like write down what they mean and like the meanings of these crystals. But like, I don't know where to write it. And so then I was like, fortunately, I've learned that there's this thing called a Book of Shadows, is the most common name for it in witchcraft, where it's basically like a journal and like a place to record all your witchy information. I personally don't love the name Book of Shadows, just because shadows isn't typically a positive term. Like, shadows is like secrets and darkness and negativity, in my opinion. At least in my opinion. And so I was like, you know, I don't really love that term. I don't want to call it that. So then I discovered that some people also call it a grimoire. And so I was like, dude, that is an epic name. Like, that sounds so epic. Like, I want a grimoire. So on Sunday night, I went to Target and I picked up a big, nice notebook, like journal notebook thing, and started my grimoire. And I organized it and watched YouTube videos about how to start your grimoire and how to set up your grimoire / Book of Shadows on Sunday night. And yeah, I was very excited. Since then, most of my packages have arrived. Like, my books came on Monday and my Etsy stuff came on Monday. Yeah, it's all just been a really grand time. And so then that's where we're at now, really, folks. I am reading Psychic Witch and taking notes in my grimoire, and I've categorized my crystals in my grimoire, and I've looked at chakras in my grimoire. By the way, my favorite explanation of the chakras is how Guru Patik explains chakras in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Put a link in the description if you want to check out the video I look at. Like, I've actually done tarot readings to the questions Guru Patik asks in that video, and that's been really influential and helpful. I guess the last thing I'll close with is sharing something in Psychic Witch, the book, that I really liked. In the book, Auryn, however you say it, he talks about how everyone has the ability to perform magic, and everyone has the ability to be psychic. The only reason, like, some people are more prone to do that is because some people have like a natural ease with it, like a natural connection to it, a natural ability with it. Just like some people have a natural ability when it comes to art, or a natural talent when it comes to sports. He's like, just like that, there's some people who are more naturally inclined and prone to be psychic or witches because of their natural gifts. But anyone can learn how to use those gifts and like tap into that potential within them. So I really like that, because that's what the tarot reader who I saw, Deborah Laurie, that's what she said too. And so I really like that. Then the other thing is that he was talking about energy and how everything is made up of energy, and like everything is energy, because like physical things are just molecules vibrating at a certain frequency. Like, that's just energy. It's just energy vibrating in the molecules. Or like sound is just like energy vibrating, like sound waves are just energy vibrating. And or like echolocation, like dolphins, like that's just energy, the way they communicate. Or like even light, the way we see things, that's just energy vibrating at a certain wavelength or whatever. And so everything is energy. And so then he's like, the only reason we can perceive energy like light and sound and physical touch and stuff, the only reason we can perceive that is because it was evolutionarily advantageous for us to be able to perceive those energies. And the only reason we can't perceive energies like magical energies like in the universe is because it wasn't evolutionarily advantageous for us to survive, and so we have a harder time perceiving other energies. Even like, again, with dolphins and echolocation, that the fact that they can perceive echolocation and communicate via echolocation and those energies is because it was evolutionarily advantageous for them and not for us. And like, even like, I don't know if you've seen, but like shrimp have like 26 cones in their eyes or something, and so they can see like way more colors than we can. And so even that, it's like how different evolutionary needs result in different perceptions of energy. So I loved that. I thought that was really cool, and I definitely agree. A quote I love is, magic is just science we don't understand yet. because I think I believe in that. I think that magic could be explained if we had the tools to do so, or the tools to measure it, or the tools to understand it better. It could be explained scientifically. We just aren't at a point where we can do that yet, and so right now it's just like wooey, like energy work, when in reality there's rules to it and there's ways to tap into it that we just don't understand fully yet. So those are my thoughts on that this fine Thursday morning, and I hope you enjoyed listening. I hope that you're excited to come along with me on my witchy journey as I continue in witchcraft to learn more about it and stuff. I'll do more videos talking about my grimoire and my altar and crystals and like all the stuff that I'm getting into as I progress and learn more about it. And I'll definitely continue to talk about these books I'm reading as I read them and share with you the cool things I learn so that you can learn them too. But yeah, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I hope y'all have a fantastic rest of your day, rest of your weekend, rest of whatever, whenever you're watching this, wherever you're watching this. Hope you have a great one. And I will talk to you and see you in my next video. Bye.